Wait. Oh no! Okay, that's really bad. Yep, that needs to be replaced. As always, if you need this or any other part, check us out at oneauto.com. Now here's the truck that we're going to be working with for this video. As you can see, the tow hitch is rusty, but it's not as bad as the one you just saw in the previous clip. You can see that this support right here, there's a piece of metal that supports the bumper pad. Well, this side is broken off and this side is all flaky and rusty. And although the hitch itself might not look rotted, you don't know how much weight this can hold, because this is where the weight's gonna go. You have all this rust forming here. It's rated for a tongue weight of 1,050 pounds, but do you really know that it's still gonna hold that? So let's go over a few different ways that you can check if this is still safe to tow with, or how to determine if it really isn't and it just needs to be replaced. Now, when you're trying to determine the severity of the rust on the tow hitch, you wanna look for peeling, flaking, bubbling. All of that is rot, and it might not be on the surface, but it could be from the inside out. If it's just surface rust, it's most likely fine. But to check for that, you want to take a screwdriver, chisel, hammer, whatever you have that'll poke at it, and try peeling off some of the flaky parts or the bubbling area. Just scrape at it, hit it with a hammer. This tow hitch is very thick metal, so it can take a lot of abuse, obviously, from a little hammer and a screwdriver. And it's clearly supposed to hold a lot of weight. So if it doesn't hold up to you poking it with a screwdriver or even a hammer, if it starts bending as you tap it with that hammer, or if it pokes through when you stab that screwdriver in, well, clearly it's not going to safely hold up the weight of a trailer, even if it's a light one. You don't want to risk it. So what might have seemed like a potentially good tow hitch receiver is definitely not. And as you could see, my screwdriver poked right through, and this is pretty thick steel. It's not supposed to do that. With the help of my hammer, I chiseled off a lot of rust, big thick flakes. That's not okay. I would not deem this safe. I would not tow with it. I would not put this on the road with a trailer on it, regardless of the weight of the trailer. I would definitely want to replace this tow hitch receiver before any trailer goes back on it. If you do replace your tow hitch, make sure you have something sturdy to bolt it onto. As you can see, in this case, the frame, well, it's questionable. I know that this truck had a tow hitch on it before, because actually I was the one that took it off, and this is why I took it off. Not only was the tow hitch in poor condition and I did not want to be tempted to tow with it, but also the frame is starting to be questionable here. I know the rest of the frame is good, but the tow hitch being here for a long time and it being rotted caused more rust to build up on the frame. So if I were to put another tow hitch on this, I would want to replace or add material to this part of the frame. So to replace a hitch receiver on most vehicles, and especially on pickup trucks, which is what we're covering today, it's a pretty simple process overall. The only thing you want to pay attention to is the fact that they are heavy, so you're going to want either a second person or a jack, maybe two jacks, some jack stands, just some sort of support here, because when you take this down, and sometimes the bumper comes down with it, well, like I said, it's heavy and you want to be safe. Overall, to change the tow hitch receiver on most vehicles will be pretty similar. So if you have to remove the bumper, which on some vehicles you do, on some you don't, you'll have to disconnect the license plate light bulb sockets from the back side of it, and then remove the bolts that hold the bumper assembly in place. If that's not the case for you, then just skip this step and move right on to disconnecting the trailer harness off of the tow hitch receiver. Most of the time it's clipped onto there. Once you get that off, you're ready to unbolt the tow hitch off of the frame. It's usually held on with several large fasteners. Once you get those off, carefully remove it. It is pretty heavy. Now on this vehicle that we are replacing the tow hitch on, as you can see, the frame is perfectly good. It still has the factory paint on it. Yeah, it has a couple rust spots, but that's no big deal. That's just some surface rust. You definitely don't want to see it rotted, flaky. If these holes are way bigger than they should be because they rotted off, do not put a tow hitch on it. Address this first, but this is good. Once you're ready to go, inspect your hardware as well. Make sure that's in good condition. Bolt it all back together. Make sure you torque it to proper spec, because it's important that this stays clamped down tight on here as you're towing your heavy trailer. Then put the wiring harness back and secure it in place. If you removed the rear bumper, go ahead and put that back on, bolt it up with whatever it's held on with, and reconnect the license plate light assemblies if you took those off. Now the tow hitch receiver is replaced, and as you can see, it's not that difficult of a process. On this particular vehicle, because it's integrated into the rear of the frame and the bumper support and everything, we did have the extra steps of taking this rear bumper assembly off. If you just have the kind that's bolted onto the bottom of the frame, you can skip all that and it's just directly the bolts for the tow hitch receiver. Overall, replacing the old tow hitch receiver with this brand new one, which by the way you can find at oneauto.com, significantly improved the safety aspect of towing with this truck. The old one was definitely questionable. The fact that the screwdriver went right through it, not a good sign. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. I hope it was helpful. And if you have anything that you want to mention, leave it down in the comment section below. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so that you can stay up to date with all of our latest content. Or some sort of support here because they are heavy. So you don't want to get damaged. You don't want to get damaged? It's like video games. You get health damage. What? Overall, the process is far